Okay. So since Tuesday we are in module 2 already. So today we will be talking about the Industrial Revolution because it is one of the important events, especially when we take into account the developments in technology, and also of course the way how science or scientific information has been used. Okay, so with that, I will do a share screen. Okay, can you see my slides? Nakikita? Okay. So when did the Industrial Revolution start? When did it start? It was in the 1700s, towards the end of the 1700s, when the Industrial Revolution began accelerating. Okay, so in particular, there are some kinds of technology and some kinds of behavior that have been instrumental in the development of this so-called revolution, which had extensive, wide repercussions in terms of economic and also social and political effects, no? Not only in Europe but throughout the globe. And it also has affected the Philippines once it had begun, no? Towards the late 1700s. Okay, but first it is also important to note that it started in Britain. No? So uh, we are singling out Britain, no, as the focus, no, of its origin. So why did it start in Britain? Una-una, ano ba yung nangyayari sa Europe noon? No? Maybe it has something to do with this origin of the Industrial Revolution. So first of all, during the 1700s, European political entities, or the so-called states, no, already, or kingdoms or empires, ganun na lang ang tawag natin, were already exploring, no, doing their exploration of the globe in order to further their objectives, like of course primarily getting rich, ganun naman getting rich, getting powerful. Okay, laban yan within Europe, no? But of course not only in Europe, no, also in other parts of the world nandun din yung labanan na ito, no? Although eventually the other kingdoms and empires outside Europe became victims of this game, no? So they became at the disadvantaged end of this game. So historians would like to call this European colonization. And it started at around the late 1400s, 1500s. Nanguna na dyan ang Spain and Portugal. Okay, kaya nga naging Hispanic ang Pilipinas, di ba? It became part of the Spanish Empire, no? It became integrated into the kingdoms of the Iberian Peninsula, but well, considered to be part of an extensive empire, no? At bakit nangyari ito? It is because the two powerful countries during that time, no, in the late 1400s and 1500s, were the kingdoms of Spain, no, kingdoms, marami, well, more than one, no? Tapos nagsanib-sanib sila, no? And also of Portugal. And they also employed other Europeans to further their objectives. So they start negotiating between themselves and said that we should divide the globe into two para walang away. No? Yung kalahati pupunta sa iyo, yung kalahati pupunta sa akin, sabi nung Spain. At nung Portugal, ganun yung usapan nila. So the hemisphere, no? The hemisphere where the Philippines belongs to was supposed to be within the Portuguese hemisphere. Okay? Yun nga lang, nung nakarating na sa Pilipinas yung mga Spaniards, ayaw na nilang umalis. No? Kasi nandun na sila, no? Nanguna na sila. So primarily, they were out in search of spices. No? Siguro kung titignan nyo, bakit spices? No? Parang walang kwenta naman yung pinag-aawayan nila. But during those times, no, in Europe, isipin nyo, no, many European dishes, no, became flavorful because of these spices. No? And before this era, no, the one we are talking about, European food was bland. Siguro a little bit of pepper, although pepper was only started to enter Europe during that time. And not, well, the other spices were unheard of. But some like nutmeg, diba? Mace, cloves, they were prized in Europe during that time. No? And so, many Europeans would like to monopolize the trade of these spices. Saan ba nila ginagamit ng mga spice na ito? Kasi marami silang mga paniniwala nun na the so and so spice could cure illnesses, no? Na noong panahon na yon, the state of medical science, no? The status of medical science is not so high, no? At compared to today's level of scientific knowledge. Okay, so marami silang mga paniniwala, and among those are the belief that certain compounds, certain substances, among them spices that are hard to obtain, are the ones that can cure illnesses. They can also beautify a person, no? And of course, they can create wealth for the owners. So they started to monopolize this. So they start looking at the sources of these spices. Halimbawa, yung mga iba tumitingin sa eastern parts, no, ng Europe, no, or the Mediterranean area, kasi doon pumapasok yung mga products na ito galing sa Asia. Okay, so they started to look at halimbawa the Middle East, no, Asia Minor, or today's Turkey, no, the Arabian Peninsula, and then also further, no, towards India. Yung India hindi pa nila mararating noon yan nung mga bandang 1400s, although some, no, like the Portuguese were able to get a foothold on it. Kasi nga naman, yung mga products na nakikita nila sa Istanbul and also in the Middle East, may pinanggagalingan pa rin yan. Okay? It is either from Africa or from Asia. At pag sinabing Asia, maraming areas yan, no? Sa Asia. Yung mga iba galing sa India. But further east, no, if you are taking their perspective, further east would be Southeast Asia. At mas maraming products ang makukuha nun. Hindi pa natin binabanggit yung China dito. Okay, so they started thinking na ano kaya kung puntahan natin yung mga yun, no? And then control the source of these products. So they set off, no? So pumunta sila halimbawa westwards and they landed in a different territory. Although hindi nila nakita yung sources of spices doon, meron naman silang ibang nadiskubre, no? Like gold. For example, we are referring to the Spaniards. Kasi nga naman yung papuntang east ay Portuguese territory na, no? Portuguese hemisphere. So they will be going to the west, no? And when you go to the west, cross the Atlantic, saan ka babagsak? Siyempre sa North America at saka sa South America, no? Although they did not find spices there, they were able to secure a monopoly on the gold mine sa Limbawa, no, of the New World, which they took, no, the wealth of which they took to Europe, which started an inflation. Kasi dumami yung currency. At syempre yung products noon sa Europe hindi naman ganong kadami, no? So Europe had experienced an inflation because of the introduction of so much currency in the form of, well, metals and gold. The Spaniards continued. So they crossed the Pacific, hindi pa sila nakontento, no? Although ang laki na nung nakokontrol nila, hindi pa sila nakontento, and then they crossed the Pacific, landed on some islands. Among them, the Philippines. Kaya sa Pilipinas na sila. Okay. Yung pala, yung source ng spice ay nasa Indonesia. Okay? Some islands in eastern Indonesia na hindi rin masyadong napuntahan, no, or na-control ng Portuguese. Ang Portuguese nanguna sila sa India, no, nakapaglagay sila ng colonies doon, but further east meron din naman, no, sa Indonesia. Meron din naman silang mga colonies doon, no. Although the control of these spices, no, like nutmeg and cloves, no, mace, yung mga Dutch, no, Dutch or the people of the Netherlands or Holland, they were the ones that have been successful in securing a foothold, no, and eventually a control over the source of these spices. Okay, so hindi maganda yung nangyari noon, no? It was disastrous on the part of the indigenous inhabitants because they were killed. No? Their social structures were destroyed. And the new owners, no, the foreigners were putting up their own system so that they could control the trade. Okay, eventually these products, no, these spices were distributed, no, in other parts of Asia. Plantations were also opened up, no, for these spices, and then eventually hindi na ganun ka mahal yung spices na ito, no? But then hindi lang din naman limited sa mga products, no, ng spice trade, yung kanilang pinupuntirya doon. There are more. Okay, such that during the 1600s and then the 1700s, when first of all, no, Spain and then Portugal and then the Dutch, no, they were the ones who were able to become global colonizers, no? These were their times and their centuries. After that, no? After that, ito naman yung mga British. So during the 1700s, they were beginning to search, no, for new places outside Europe. So ganun nga, no, 'di ba kaya nagkaroon ng United States, no? The society, no? The base society of the United States were from the Europeans, particularly the British at saka ibang Europeans din. And then slowly marginalizing the native inhabitants of the New World. Okay, so just like in Mexico, ganun din yung nangyari. Although sa Mexico nagkaroon ng yung mestizo population ay malaki. Unlike in the US, yung mainstream society ay hindi Native American Indian kundi mga puti. Okay, lalong-lalo na yung mga British at yung mga ibang European immigrants. Okay, so kaya tayo nagkaroon ng United States, it is because of them. Okay, and they did not limit themselves to the United States and also to Canada, no? They also colonized other parts of the world. Halimbawa, parts of Africa. Okay, during that time, there was no Suez Canal yet, no? Because the Suez Canal was the shortcut from Europe when you want to go to Asia. It is a safer route rather than rounding the coast, no, of Africa up to the Cape of Good Hope. Okay, noong unang panahon wala pang Suez, no, kaya they were rounding Africa. No, they were going around Africa. This was started by the Dutch and also by the British. So that they need a stopover because halfway through they want to recharge, to load supplies so that they could have food to eat aboard. So they started a colony at the tip of Africa, in what is now South Africa. Kaya yung South Africa, when it became a nation state, nanguna dyan yung mga puti, no? Yung mga Dutch and the British. At yung discrimination was very bad, no? Unlike during the 1990s, no, nagkaroon ng there had been a lot of changes going on so that it became, well, relatively egalitarian until today. Okay, so ganun yung kwento kung bakit tayo maraming Dutch at British descendants sa South Africa. It is because it was there during the colonial period, no? Centuries back, it was their loading station, no, of their ships. Ngayon, when the Suez Canal was opened in the 19th century, meaning in the 1800s, sea transport could already bypass that, no? Into more safer or into safer alternatives like the Suez Canal. Okay, so Britain colonized some parts of the old world and also Africa. In the 19th century, mas extensive pa yung colonization nila dyan. And also one of the prized possessions of the British was India. And an extension of India was Southeast Asia. Okay? So yung India ang nagpayaman sa Britain. An extension of that is Malaysia. So British Malaya kung tawagin. And then we could now see the entry of products from Asia. So among them were products from India like cloth, okay, which sold cheaply. Aside from that, there were also they were starting to get a foothold on China too. Okay, so in China, the European powers did not really colonize them, did not dominate them, but they held the upper hand in terms of trade and networks. They were able to establish small colonies on the coast of China. The British, the Portuguese, sino pa? The Germans, the French. Okay? Hindi man nila nasakop yung China, but they were able to gain a foothold on the coasts. And this they developed into trading stations. Okay, of course, they were also on the lookout for new products and also markets. So when we are looking at Britain, for example, yung products ng China, no, ay dinala din ng Britain papunta sa Europe. Ganon din yung mga ibang European powers. And they were totally amazed, for example, of many products like porcelain, blue and white porcelain, such that the demand was high in Europe. And Europeans were starting to think of making them in Europe kasi nga yung mga tao doon ay gustong-gusto nila ng porcelain. And so little by little they smuggled, no, the technology from the Chinese, which we'll talk about later. Aside from that, in Britain, there was also Indian cloth. Okay, Indian cloth that were being sold to the markets in Britain. And of course, it is not only a one direction flow of commodities. Bidirectional yan, no? Two ways. So if there are products coming from Asia into the British Isles, there are also products from Europe going into Asia, no? Because they also consider the colonies as their markets for European products. Okay, yun nga lang. Okay, the new markets for British products, no? Nung tinitignan nila yung mga yung conditions, okay? Yung conditions, they cannot compete with the Asian products. So there has to be some change, no? In order for the situation in Britain to be efficient and to be more profitable. Okay. So first of all, when it comes to textile manufacture, and if Britain wants to compete with other players abroad, they have to devise a way in order for them to profit, no? By making the manufacture of these products more efficient. So they have to upgrade their technology. Kasi nung mga panahon na yan, it was only a cottage industry. Okay, it was only a cottage industry in Britain and also in India. But the Indian situation is more efficient because the wages there are lower compared to Britain. And if you want to be more efficient, you have to do something about the technology in Britain, halimbawa. So where do they tinker in this changes? So we have three phases of the manufacturing processes. We have the spinning of cotton, the weaving of cotton, and putting designs. And as we shall see, each was mechanized in order for the industry to be more efficient. Okay, so the first was textile manufacture, regarding the spinning of cotton. We have here the appearance of the spinning jenny and the mule. Okay, so spinning machines were more efficient in Britain than other countries because their cost was lower than wages paid for manual labor. Nung nagkaroon na ng spinning jenny, okay, ano ba yung kailangan gawin pagka nagkaroon ng bagong technology? You have to of course employ people, no? In order to man them, but not so much na katulad nung ginagawa nung manual production ng fabric. Okay, and such that when the spinning machines were created, they were more efficient in Britain because their cost was lower than wages paid for manual labor. I think, sige. I have found a YouTube video. No? I will just attach it in the VLE, no? Para mapanood nyo. No? Yung halimbawa spinning of cotton and also the other phases of textile manufacture. Are there any questions so far? Questions? Questions? So in the spinning of cotton, basically, you are making the cotton fibers into threads, no? Sinulid. Ganun nyo isipin. And then collect it in a spool, halimbawa. Okay, so this was done previously, no? This was done manually. But then with the creation of these technologies like the spinning jenny and the mule, naging mechanized na. So that they have been making threads with the use of machines and collecting them in spools, halimbawa. Along with it were the establishment of buildings so that they could house these machines and also the people who would man these machines. And we can see here the evolution of the first factories. The second phase is weaving and finishing. No? Weaving muna. Weaving continued to be a cottage industry in the 1790s to early 1800s. Okay, so naunang na-mechanize yung cotton spinning before the weaving phase. And if you can imagine have you been to Sagada or to the other places where you can see the indigenous process of of weaving textiles. I think in Baguio we all said that, no? In the Easter School. Nakita nyo na ba yon? Halimbawa yung products na binibili nyo, no? Yung bag, yung sa Nardas, if you are familiar with Nardas, no? The technology that they have employed, no, in making these products are still the traditional ones. Okay, at ito yung pinapakita natin dito, no? So before, ganito yung technology na ginagamit nila before the weaving phase was mechanized. So they have to arrange threads by colors, halimbawa. And painstakingly, they have to wind the thread in and out of those no, yung strings na nandoon. So that it would form a pattern, and eventually it would compose a cloth. So in the 1820s, this was mechanized when the power loom appeared in the 1820s. Okay, so that is the second phase, no? Weaving. Thirdly, we have finishing. And in this case, we are talking here about printing, putting designs on the fabric. In India, these were hand-painted. Okay, katulad ng ibang parts pa rin, no? When you go to other countries, if it is considered artisanal, no, most of the time it is hand-painted. Or maybe they produce the cloth or the bag in such a way that they have alam niyo yung pagko-cross stitch, di ba? Ganun sa paraan na yun nila ginawa yung mga designs. So these are artisanal products, which are of course more expensive than the ones that are commercially produced, no? Mechanized through machines. So in India, these were hand painted, and in England it was block printed. So with block printing, they have these blocks where you could carve the designs, and then you stamp the blocks on ink, and then stamp it again on the cloth or the fabric. Yan, ito yung block printing na tinatawag. For book publications, no? Book publications and even dailies, ganun din yung nangyari noon, no? Lalong-lalo na nung mga earlier phases ng book publication, they were also using this technology of block printing. Okay, so painstakingly they have carved, no, letters on blocks individually, and they have arranged this into words and sentences. So palagi nilang inaayos yan. If they need to publish a new issue of a daily and also a book, no, if they need to produce a book, ganun din, no? They have to arrange the letters into words and into sentences, and then put ink on them, and then stamp it, no, on paper. So this is block printing. So first it was made by wooden blocks, and then copper, and then finally cylinder printing. Okay, cylinder printing na. In cylinder printing, you have this wheel-like device, and then laden with ink, and then you roll it on paper or on the fabric, so that by the time when stamps are being produced, no, postage stamps. I don't know if you are still using postage stamps nowadays, no? Are you? I think most of you if not all, I think all of you are sending letters through email na lang, no? Email or messenger. No? Hindi na natin pinapansin yung snail mail na gumagamit ng postage stamps. But several to few decades ago, we are still using postage stamps most of the time. Okay. And when postage stamps became the norm, no, in the mid-1800s, they were already being printed through the use of cylinder printing. Okay, cylinder printing na. Okay, so if we take a look at the history of these technologies, no, spinning, weaving, and finishing, you can see that the weaving process is the late bloomer. Okay. Actually, the cylinder too has been contemporaneous with the appearance of the power loom. But during the time that block printing were being done, it was a step higher than just writing or hand designing, or using just your hands to place the designs. Okay, so tatandaan niyo ito, no? Yung process ng textile manufacturing. Other than textiles, we also have the steam engine that was instrumental in the development of this series of events, and also partly porcelain. No? When we take a look at its facets with regards the science that has been happening during those times, we can see that the steam engine and the porcelain were the results of scientific information that have been produced by the thinkers and the experimenters of those times. So their knowledge have been made useful in order to develop certain industries like the steam engine and the chemical industries. Whereas textile has been peripheral to these advancements. Why is this so? Because the steam engines and porcelain industries were participated in directly by the scientists themselves, the inventors themselves, the ones who have studied. Whereas the textile industry, a greater number of the actors involved in the development of textiles would be business owners that are not really scientists. Okay? Kaya ganun yung pagkakaiba nito. Okay? So moving on to the steam engine. Before steam, the sources of energy were several. In Europe, for example, we can see that alam niyo yung windmill, di ba? In Holland. Before the steam engine appeared, the ones that were powering those windmills were, of course, the wind. Ano pa? Also, water, no? For the water mills. When they want to grind grains or wheat, no, into flour. Kasi nga naman, ang kinakain nila palagi doon ay bread, di ba? Kadalasan bread. Although they were also eating wheat grains and maybe rye and barley. But oftentimes they were into bread. So they have to grind this, the wheat grains, they have to grind into flour. For example, during the Roman period and the dark ages of Europe, no, the early medieval period, ano ang ginagamit nila? When you take a look at the Roman towns and cities, you would see donkeys or other animals doing the work. So they were fastened into this device, grinding device, so that when they walk around, they would be turning those devices that would grind the grains into flour. In other parts of Europe, there was also the water mill. Ilalagay nila halimbawa yung mill or yung gilingan sa tabi ng waterfall or a stream that they could control, no? So that water would be flowing over a wheel, no? And when the wheel turns, the device that would be grinding the grains would also turn, so that flour would be produced. Yung windmill, ganyan din ang nangyari. There are some windmills like in Spain that were being used during those times in order to produce flour. Of course, tao ganyan din. Now, in other parts of the world, we could also see this pattern. In our case, for the Philippines in the pre-colonial period, and even until recent times, when you want to make, halimbawa, ano ba? When you want to make espasol, di ba? Are you familiar with espasol o hindi na kayo kumakain ng espasol? Or you want to make galapong para gawing bilo-bilo? What do you do? What do you do to produce rice flour? Alam niyo yung binabayo, yung malaki, di ba? I think in some parts of the Cordillera region or in some provinces, they are still using that. No, yung malaking mortar and pestle in order to grind rice grains. Okay, kung minsan ganun yung ginagawa natin. In other countries, ganun din, no? They were also using halimbawa firewood and charcoal. In the case of China, when they were making porcelains during the early the early second millennium CE, no? Around 1,000 years ago, ganito din yung ginagawa nila, no? So they were using firewood and charcoal, okay, in order to make porcelains, blue and white porcelain. Okay, of course, there is muscular energy, no? Human and animal muscular energy. Okay. And also, no, we should be mentioning the role of this fuel, coal, which was initially used for heating in the 1500s in Britain. Okay, so it was coal that was fueling the steam engines. So it was used to heat water, and when water was heated, it would produce steam, and the energy from this steam, no, would be the ones that were powering the machines. It has the steam engine and the coal industry are both complementary with each other. Yung coal ay minimina. So when you mine coals, you produce depressions. And then they fill up with water. In the climate of Britain, madalas umuulan. So this gets filled up with water. You need to take out the water from it in order to continue using these mines. And the way to do it also would be using the steam engine. Okay, so complementary yung relationship nila. Coal is being used to fuel the steam engine, while the steam engine is also being used in order to maintain, no, the operations of the coal mines. So steam engines' first use was the pumping of water out of the coal mines. And with this, we can see the efficiency, no, with regards these two industries. And in other parts of Europe, walang ganito. Such that when it comes to efficiency, medyo magastos, no, yung operation ng steam engine. And that is why we would say that in Britain, the steam engine has been more efficient, no? And it has been this situation has been crucial in the development, no, of the Industrial Revolution, because the steam engine, no, has found a home, a better home in Britain, in the industries of Britain. Of course, this did not come out of a vacuum, so to speak, no? Kasi it has been helped by scientific information that has been accumulating through the years, no? Like halimbawa, the experiments of the Italians, no? Like Torricelli, and also of Galileo. And then the inventions, no? The rudimentary forms of the steam engines by inventors like Papin and Newcomen. So again, to reiterate, knowledge about steam engines were developing all over Europe, but it was in Britain where it was first applied because of coal mining technology. Britain had the largest coal industry at that time. Okay, so are there any questions? So you can see here the relationship now, no? Not only of technology and science, as we have been mentioning, no, during our past lectures, but also of economy. No, economy and also of business. So we are looking here into efficiency. Ano ba yung mga magsasucceed, halimbawa na technologies, at ano yung probably not, no, na will not become successful. Kasi in the development of technology, no, business owners primarily are always looking into efficiency. And nowadays, if you take a look at the industries that most of them are technologically based, heavily technologically based at that. No? You can see that there are many intelligent strategies that are being practiced by our managers. so that they would get the most benefits. Hindi lang yung basta-basta kuha dito ng information or ganitong technology, no. They are also fitting it into their business models. What would work and what should be left out. Okay, so in discussing science and technology, we are not only academically discussing things that is devoid of context. When it comes to science and technology, lalong-lalo na technology, we are always, or we should always see this in the light of the other aspects of culture. Of course, social, political, and also, more importantly, of the economic aspect of society. Kasi hindi mo ma-detach yan, from the economic aspect. There was an extensive network between academia and industry practitioners with regards to the steam engine. So these are among the thinkers that produce technology. Halimbawa si James Watt with his steam engine condenser. Now, the steam engine is one of the more important products of this era, because with it we can do many things. Not only in factories or the production of goods, but also in transportation. Our first automobiles or the precursors of it were in this form, powered by this kind of technology. The locomotive, trains have been an important mode of transportation. Even during halimbawa the 19th century, the 1800s, there were already trains in the Philippines. Halimbawa, those running from Manila in Tutuban. Pumupunta ba kayo sa Tutuban? In Divisoria, nandun yung train station ng Tutuban, di ba? From there, going to, Pangasinan, in Dagupan. Even up to La Union, in the succeeding century, the early 1900s, so may mga trains tayo na ganyan. So the transportation system in Central Luzon, at the end of the 19th century, the beginning of the 20th century, was made more efficient through this railway network. And it was made possible by the evolution of the steam engine. Okay. So sa Pilipinas pa lang yun. What else in other countries? For example, in Europe, also in the United States. Diba? Many parts of the United States have been connected by the steam locomotive. Saan pa, In India, being a British colony, marami nang nangyari yun. It was crucial to the development of the economy during that time, and also for communication purposes. Okay, what else? Water vessels. I think you are familiar with, ano ba ito? Yung novel ni Rizal, El Filibusterismo. Nababasa nyo pa ba yon, yung El Filibusterismo? Yes or no? El Fili? Are you familiar with this? Yes? Okay. Where do we see third year K to 12? Okay. So all of you have gone through LPhil and Noli. Doon sa LPhil, yung mga unang chapters nito, nakikita natin yung gamit ng STEAM technology. Naalala nyo pa ba? Do you still remember the times of your life? Or the times of your high school life? Anong klaseng technology yon? Ano yung setting ng mga unang chapters ng El Filibusterismo? Diba nagkukwentuhan sila doon? Anyone? May nakaalala pa ba? Unang chapters ng El Filibusterismo. Saan yung setting? Nasaan sila na nag-uusap? Okay, sa boat, sa ship. Okay, vapor tabo. Okay. So naalala nyo pa, no? Yung vapor tabo, no? Ship, boat, vapor tabo. In the first place, bakit natin tinatawag na ano, no? Na vapor yung ship? 'Di ba? Pag halimbawa pupunta tayo sa Cebu and then we prefer riding the liner instead of Cebu Pacific or PAL. Ano yung sinasabi natin? Sasakay ako sa vapor or sa barko, di ba? In the first place, why are we saying vapor to refer to a ship? Because of this, no? Because it has been powered by the steam engine. Steam, vapor, kaya vapor. Yes, no? Vapor, steam, no? Kaya ganun ang tawag natin. So until now, ganun pa rin naman. No? There are boilers in the body of big ships, no? Ocean liners. And these are also the machines that are responsible for the movement of these big water vessels. Okay? So in the trains, in ships, ano pa, marami pa, no? Marami pang mga machines ang gumagamit ng steam engine. Halimbawa, yung mga grinders natin, the ones that are used in mills, are also or have also been powered by the steam engine. And I will be attaching an article about the development of the sugar industry in the Western Visayas, no? From the 19th century to the 20th century, so that you can read it. No? It has something to do with the events since the development of the Industrial Revolution. And it has been crucial to the development of trade and also of wealth in that region. Okay, so I will be attaching that to your VLE. Aside from textiles and the steam engine, another interesting industry would be porcelain. Because during that time, in the 1600s, for example, in England, the people there only produced earthenware. Earthenware or palayok. Wala pa yung mga glazed ceramics noon. Or yung mga mamahalin na porcelains, no? Na makikita nyo halimbawa doon sa mga English manor, wala pa yun. So people who have created products of the new technology with regards porcelain would be the ones who also have studied the science behind it, like John Dwight. So again, you also have to be critical about the technologies or parts of the technology to produce these kinds of products. For example, the raw materials. And we can see that the first porcelains in Europe developed on the areas where the raw materials, in this case clay, di ba? A type of clay would be found, like the mouths of the big rivers, the Rhine, no? If you're familiar with the Rhine River, which flows into the North Sea through the Netherlands. And also there are many rivers in Germany. So one of the first areas where European porcelain were being produced was in the Netherlands. Also in the United Kingdom, no? Because there are many sources there of clay used for porcelain. Aside from the raw materials is the furnace, no? And the glaze, the application of glaze. So you can see here other personalities like William Cookworthy, who was an apothecary. Pag sinabi nating apothecary, we are referring here to pharmacists or those who are involved in the trade of drugs, no, or pharmaceuticals or medicines, no? Simply put, medicines. Also James Wedgwood. Now, Wedgwood is a highly regarded brand of porcelain nowadays, no? Wedgwood. Okay, so as what I've been mentioning, these were partly developed by those who have studied the science and partly engaged in the trade. Okay, so mas maganda, no, if you want to have a business, no, that is well informed, no, from the science behind it, no, among the people who could do so would be those oriented, no, in the sciences and also those who have business acumen. Okay. Or even if not an individual, at least an organization that would be comprised of these people. Okay, so in many companies, no, you would see a mix of these people. For example, those CEOs who have good business know-how, and also those specialists or technicians, I would want to call technicians, that are adept in the science of their of their products. Okay, nowadays, kung minsan, no, the scientists would want a bigger share of the benefits, halimbawa. So they also want to study the management part. Madalas kasi when we take a look at companies, no, those who are occupying the higher levels or the higher positions, no, yung mga CEO or maybe the regional director, ganyan, or perhaps the country director, sila madalas yung merong business know-how or managerial skills. And the ones who are the scientists or the technicians are those confined in the laboratories. So nowadays you can see you would see the pattern that even the scientists would want to have an MBA, halimbawa, if they want to move higher into the ladder. Minsan ganyan ang nangyayari. Although in some industries, no, like halimbawa the food industry, no, food technology, yung mga tinatawag halimbawa natin na flavorists, those who are involved in inventing new flavors, no, through making new chemical compounds, so they are also better paid than the other specialists. Pati sa mga ibang scientific industries, ganun din. So we can see here, no, that at this point, it is already impossible to do these kinds of things only by yourself. You need an organization. And many of these industries, almost all, no, well, this is a pattern. The industries, no, they are based on collective learning. So an improvement of the technology that has been there, no? But of course, there has it has to start somewhere and then build upon. You build on these technologies. I think this is the last slide. May isa pa. Or this is the last slide. So again, the lower cost of coal in England afforded the creation of a furnace that can produce more ceramics despite being more simple to the ones used by the Chinese. In the Chinese case, I've been mentioning about the ovens being used to bake porcelains, being extensive ovens, but they are consuming fuel in the form of firewood to a greater extent than the ones being used in the European setting during that time, when porcelain was already being made in Europe. In England, they can afford this because they have a higher level of technology. And if they want to halimbawa downsize the scale of the ovens, they can do so, because it is cost effective. Again, we can see here the role of the business, no, people, no, managerial skills, how it is structuring science and technology. Okay, this is the last slide. Any questions? Questions that you would like to ask? Any questions? Wala pa, or nag-iisip pa kayo kung ano yung gusto nyong itanong, or maybe you can, anyway, if you have questions, you can just ask them in the email halimbawa, no? Or when we meet each other. Because today will be the last synchronous meeting for October. Okay, last online meeting for October. If we can, we could meet on maybe the 19th, or maybe we can start the reporting on the 24th. No? I will send to you the dates of the reports. So we will start the reports by the week of the 24th, no? 24th and 26th, merong re-report na doon. I will be sending you the results of the list, na your submissions by, if I cannot make it tonight, I will be putting it out tomorrow, early tomorrow morning. Okay, so any questions pa, or any concerns? Any concerns? Next meeting, we will not meet, no, on on October 10, we will not meet. I will just reserve that session as your preparation time for the reports. And then after that, no, for 1 week, you will have your reading break. And then on October 19, do you like to meet face-to-face? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are you still there? Sino ang gustong mag-meet ng October 19 face-to-face? Sino ang gustong mag-meet ng October 24 na lang? Okay, there is one, October 24 na lang. Okay. Okay, marami ano? Maraming gusto October 24. Okay, so I will meet you on October 24 na lang, no? Face-to-face sa campus para magkita-kita na tayo. Okay, and by that time, maybe we can start the reporting, no? Can start the reporting. Okay? Anong room po pala? I have to check, no? Hindi ko rin napansin kung anong room ang binigay sa atin. So I will inform you in the VLE. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions? Ano pa bang kailangan kong banggitin? Aside from the reports. Okay, I think none at this moment. Ano? Okay. So if you have no more questions, I will see you on October 24. Okay, in campus na. And by that time, the first group will have to report. Okay? So, thank you for attending this session and make good use of your reading break. No? Catch up for those of you who are still lagging behind. If there are any problems with communication or you cannot access things in the VLE, just inform me. Okay? Sige. You may leave the session now.
Thank you po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.